Good morning. My name is Peter Shantz, and I'll be the worship associate today. And I'm happy to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. We're a diverse congregation that welcomes you. See what happens when you try to ad-lib. We're a diverse congregation that welcomes you as you are, regardless of your age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or physical ability. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and from the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. We're an active community that lives its lives or lives its values beyond the hours of Sunday service, and I'd like to call your attention to the following. From social action. This month, let's focus on Thanksgiving needs for people to people. Things like dessert mixes, gravy, instant potatoes, cranberry sauce, or broth. And staying warm for Homeward Bound with things like long sleeve tees, socks, gloves, hats, warm underwear, etc. Please join us for our bread communion service on Sunday, November 23rd. Also, we're looking for volunteers to help before and or after the service, and for people to provide bread or condiments such as butter or jam. Please see Candace if you're interested in helping, or email her at the email address in your program. Tonight is the night for bowlers and non-bowlers alike. Come join us at Ballers Sports Club, which used to be called Triway Lanes, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock tonight for fun and fellowship. There's bowling, of course, a pool room, full concession stand, and tables to hang out with your fellow UUs. Feel free to bring a deck of cards or board games and enjoy the fun. If you'd like to hear more about our activities, feel free to ask Karen Skubik, our membership coordinator.
Thank you, Peter, and good morning, everyone. It's great to see all of you, and welcome to the people up watching us online. Good to have you all here. So if you did not know about bowling tonight, well, how about who knew that there was bowling tonight? That's really good. And if you did not know, that means you're not getting enough information from us, because we usually try to communicate any events in multiple ways, because everybody has different ways they take in information. So if you didn't see about bowling maybe 2, 3, 4 ways, you can check with me to see if you're not getting, for example, if you're not on the Google group, we have a Google group where we send out email about events or important things that are happening in our congregation, and of course the Friday email and the monthly newsletter. So there's a lot of ways that we're getting information out. So if you feel like you're not getting enough information to know things are happening, please let me know. And I want to welcome any visitors we have today. I know we might have a couple here, and I'll look forward to meeting you after the service. I'll be in the back of the sanctuary and be happy to talk to anyone who has any questions. Thank you.
I always get excited when I see this. Isn't it great that, I don't know how many other congregations have an orchestra, but we are just so lucky to have this. Thank you all for your time. Yes! Yes! Amen. Thank you for your ministry. We're talking about gratitude this month. And I don't know about you, one of the things I struggle with gratitude is sometimes I look around and I'm like, have you seen what the world is like? What do you want me to be grateful for? Does anyone ever feel so exhausted with what is going on that gratefulness and thankfulness just seem impossible? What do we do with that? How do we hold that? This is going to be a real tough topic. I have a lot of time wrestling with this because we've talking about how do we acknowledge the pain and still find the good in it. Because I don't know about you, but when you're in hard moments, that's the last thing you want to do. But is it important to do it? We'll see. We'll see. It is a bright and beautiful day. I'm so glad it's cold outside, because I'm afraid most of you would be in your gardens as opposed to be here this morning. But thank you for spending your time to worship with us. Thank you for taking this hour to center yourselves, to put some things down, to open your hearts. Please put your cell phones in worship mode, and thank you again. Join us now in a time of worship.
Our chalice lighting this morning is The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Let us now rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn. Come sing a song with me. The music can be found in the gray hymnal number 346.
With me, come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come
like to invite the kids and youth or anybody who would like to get a little closer to our story today to come on up. I'm out of breath and thirsty after all those verses. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good to see you. All right. Hawthorne, would you like to check the Wonder Box for us?
Sure. An eyeglass that has multiple different colors.
Yes. Does it have a special name?
Minoscope.
Kaleidoscope. That's it, a kaleidoscope. It's a very popular toy from long ago that kids today probably don't see as often. But if you hold it up to the light and twirl it around, what happens?
It's really pretty.
It is. Does it stay the same or does it change?
It changes.
Yeah.
They can go back to make it the same.
Pretty cool, huh? When you're done, you can pass it around.
You can also zoom in and zoom out.
It changes your perspective. It changes what you see, right? And we're going to be talking in RE today about changing our perspective with gratitude. So I wanted to do a little bit of a story today about what that means to change our perspective. And I couldn't decide between two short stories. I didn't tell Walter. I'm pulling two stories today, sorry. The first one is a short, real story, and the last one is a silly one. The first story is actually about one of my kiddos. She's in college now. But when she was, you know her, right? She was your babysitter. You remember Emmy, right? Well, back when Emmy was in school, she went through a period of time where all of her best friends had really nice houses. I mean really nice. I mean fancy schmancy. I'm talking really cool video game systems, trampoline in the basement, cool stuff that we didn't have at our house. Now our house is great. We've got a small house that takes care of us just fine, but it's pretty small. And everyone has a really small bedroom and we share one bathroom and it's old and we gotta fix things a lot, but we love it, it's our home. But for a while, Emmy was feeling like what we had wasn't good enough. Yeah, I got her permission to tell this story, it's okay. And one day she said, "Mom, are we poor?" And I said, "We are not." And we had a discussion about what that means to be poor. But she kept comparing our life to what all of her friends' lives were like. Well, one day she had a new friend over that she made at school. And this friend came to our house. And she came in Emmy's tiny little bedroom that's decorated with stuff from the Goodwill, right? It's nothing fancy, but she loves it. It's beautiful. And her friend came in and she said, "Wow, your room is gorgeous and you have it all to yourself." "I don't have my own bedroom. My family has 6 people and we only have one bedroom in our apartment. And the kids have to sleep in the living room." And that's where their life was right then. And then Emmy took her outside. "You have a yard to play in? And chickens? This is the most amazing place I've ever visited." And Emmy later said, "Mom, I really learned a lesson today about appreciating the things that I have." So that's a real story about appreciating the things that we have and changing our perspective. Now comes a really silly story, and I'm going to be needing some help with sound effects all around, okay? This is a story called Too Much Noise. It's written by Anne McGovern, okay? A long time ago, there was an old man, and his name was Peter. I'm sorry, Peter, this was before I knew you were worship associate, but roll with it, okay? And he lived in an old, old house, and in this house, the bed creaked. Can you make a creak? The floor squeaked. Outside, the wind blew the leaves through the trees. And the leaves fell on the roof. Swish, swish. And the tea kettle whistled. "This is too noisy around this house," said Peter. So Peter went to see the wise man of the village. "What can I do?" Peter asked of the wise man. "My bed creaks, my floor squeaks, the wind blows the leaves through the trees, the leaves fall on the roof and swish, swish, my tea kettle whistles and hisses." "I can help you," said the wise man. "I know exactly what to do." "What should I do?" said Peter. "Get a cow," said the wise man. "What good is a cow?" said Peter. But Peter got a cow anyhow. And the cow said, "Moo." Cow said moo, and the bed creaked, and the floor squeaked. And outside the wind blew the leaves through the trees, and the leaves fell on the roof, swish, swish. And the tea kettle whistled, hiss, hiss, hiss. It's too noisy, said Peter. So he went back to the wise man. Ah, you must get a donkey, said the wise man. What good is a donkey? Said Peter. But Peter got a donkey anyhow. Now, I happen to have a donkey that lives across the street from me. I've been listening to it for 20 years, and you know what he says? Yes, he sure does. And the cow said, and the bed, and the floor, and outside the wind blew through the trees and swished on the roof, and the tea kettle. Still noisy, said Peter. So he went back to the wise man. Get a sheep, said the wise man. What good is a sheep? But Peter got a sheep anyhow. And the sheep said, bah. And the donkey said, and the cow said, and the bed, and the floor. And outside the wind blew the leaves through the trees, and they went swish, swish. And the tea kettle whistled. Too much noise, said Peter. Try to hold it together, Peter. And he went back to the wise man. The wise man said, get a hen. What am I going to do with a hen, said Peter. But he got a hen anyhow. And the hen, does anyone know a hen sound? I know you have chickens. You've had chickens.
I have chickens.
Especially when they're laying an egg and bragging about it. Right? And, hold on, where were we? The sheep said. The donkey said. The cow said. The bed. The floor. And outside the wind blew the leaves on the roof, swish, swish, and the tea kettle. And back he went to the wise man again. Ah, it is now time, said the wise man, to get a dog. And a cat, too. What good is a dog or a cat, said Peter. But he got a dog and cat anyhow. The dog said, you got a good dog? The cat said, and the hen said, the sheep said, the donkey said, the cow said, the bed, the floor, and outside the wind blew, and the tea kettle said. Well, now Peter was getting pretty mad. He went to the wise man and said, I told you my house was too noisy, and now my house sounds like this. Make all the noises at once. Moo! I'm going crazy, said Peter. And the wise man said, you must continue to do as I say. Let the cow go. Let the donkey go. Let the sheep go. Let the hen go. Let the dog go. Let the cat go. So Peter let them all go. And now there was no moo. There was no hee-haw. No baa, no bok-bok, no woof, no meow. Ah, Peter sat down on the bed. The bed creaked. Ah, what a quiet noise, said Peter. The floor squeaked. Ah, that's a peaceful sound, said Peter. And outside the leaves fell on the roof, swish, swish. And the tea kettle whistled. And Peter said, ah, how quiet and lovely my house is. And he got into bed and went to sleep and slept a very quiet dream. The end. Thank you for your sound effects. And thank you for sitting through 2 stories today since I couldn't decide on one. All right. We are going to head to class since we've already took up a little time here. Thank you.
Please join me now in the spirit of meditation. Let us set the sacred space. If it is comfortable for you to put your feet on the floor, please do so. Take one deep breath. Blow it out. Relax your shoulders. Let your hands fall in your lap. Let your eyes go soft. In fact, I encourage you to look out the windows. We're at the point where the leaves are mostly gone. The colors of the fall have left us short, brief, beautiful. And we are left with the barren trees. And what is so beautiful is what it allows us to see. Look at the sky. That blue, crisp sky and those white clouds. We don't always get to see those from our sanctuary. And look at how bright it is. With the leaves gone, we may see people walking on that path easier, enjoying the outside, time with their pets. Can you imagine the air they're bringing into their lungs in that moment? The crispness of it, the briskness. So often when we think of the beautiful view from this sanctuary, we think of the green lushness, the budding spring, that beautiful fall color. And when we think of the barrenness, we don't often get to think of the beauty of the sky that it allows us to see. We forget that it reminds us of the circle of life. That when things look dry and inert, that there is always hope in that. Nature and our lives mirror each other. And when things look barren, when things are barren, there is still always beauty. May it be so. May it ever be so. Each week, we come into this space to gather in community, to support and lift each other up. If there is something that brings you joy, something that lifts your heart, as we sing Spirit of Life, I encourage you to come to our altar, take one of our glass beads, and put it in the water. Let that joy ripple out. Share it with everyone around you, for we need your joys. And if there is something that weighs heavy on your heart, something that may be too big for words, something that you need to unburden just for a moment to catch your breath, I encourage you, again, to come up. Put that worry, put that sorrow on this stone. Let the water wash it away just for this instant, so that we can hold you in these tough times. If you need extra support over the next few weeks, let me know. We have members of the pastoral care team here. Steve is here. Cheryl is here. We would love to meet with you and just listen. And if you would like to talk to me this week, please let me know, either during Joys or Sorrows or after service, and we'll set up a time and we'll talk. Please, join me now in our Joys and Sorrows ritual as we sing Spirit of Life.
Our faith is centered on the belief that we can make this world a better place for all who dwell in it. In order to realize that vision, we need both the motivation and the means. Your donation helps the community put its faith into action by supporting programming and facilities. Each month, we choose an agency to receive half of the donations that are not designated for another purpose. In November, we'll share the plate with the Immigrant Worker Project, also known as IWP. IWP was founded in 1998 to address the needs of the farm worker and rural migrant communities in Ohio. The heart of the project is a deep commitment to economic, legal, political, and social justice for the Latinx community. IWP supports human dignity and justice for immigrants while building communities that embrace cultural diversity. For those who are watching online or who do not carry cash, you can donate on our website or by scanning the QR code in the order of service or on the screen. The offering will now be collected and gratefully received. Join me now for this unison reading. The words are on the screen. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many of us do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. This morning's reading comes from Mark Nepo. I'm often not grateful when I'm in the hardship, but to be broken is no reason to see all things as broken. That was a great lesson for me in my cancer journey. My first chemo treatment was so hard and botched, and I was in great pain, sickness, and fear while stuck in a Holiday Inn. Even though I felt broken in that moment, the sun was still shining, and down the street a baby was being born, and somewhere else people were making love, and someone was being grateful to someone else, all of it happening at once. We tend to either make what we're going through everything or nothing. It's a seesaw. We make the struggle and the fear a descriptor of life, and we get caught up in that project. We make it a struggle and a fear and a descriptor of life and get caught up in that project and project it to being a worldview. But it's not a worldview, it's just our experience. So the challenge is to open your heart to what's happening beyond your part in the moment, to the moment of life everywhere. For instance, I went to see my 94-year-old grandmother, and I found her sitting on the edge of her bed feeling glum. When I asked her what was wrong, she looked at the small window in her room and in her Russian accent said, it's a gray day. I immediately looked at the window and I saw that it hadn't been cleaned for 6 months. So I said, Grandma, the window is dirty. We'll get it cleaned and I'll take you out into the courtyard. She looked at the window, and with the recognition and humor of someone who'd been here for almost 100 years, sighed and said, got a dirty eye, see a dirty world.
Got a dirty eye, see a dirty world. How many of you are looking out your windows and looking at a dirty world right now? It's easy to do. Turn into the news, scroll through Facebook. There's another heartbreaking story. Dirty world. The weather's getting colder, darker. So many of us, we just got in the fall, and I'm hearing so many people say, oh gosh, it's too dark, too cold. Already. Dirty world. Some of us are excited. The holiday season is coming, getting to visit family, getting to visit friends. And a lot of us are already doing roll your eyes, here come the holidays. Focusing on the hectic pace, focusing on the expenses, and doing that old mantra, it's just so commercial. Dirty world. I get it. Gonna be honest with you folks, I am completely guilty of those things, at least at some level. It's really easy to find the worst in any situation. Like anybody, I have something to blame it on. It's not my fault. It's my generation. I'm Gen X. Don't know if you know this, Gen X is the cynical generation. We were born into cynicism, right? We're the generation that got to grow up and watch every single institution fall apart. We did, right? For we were growing up, marriage, sacred institution. What happened in the 70s? Divorce rates went up. Why? Well, because women got rights. That kind of helped. At least some. Normalized. We got to see that maybe relationships weren't as sacred as we thought. Then we had the institution of believing that our government was always doing the best for us. I'd like to thank the Nixon administration for correcting that. And what about the institution of the church? An institution, all that we hold holy, a bastion, a moral compass. I'd like to thank all the televangelists and their private jets, and all of the scandals of the 80s for deconstructing that for us. Generation X got to see all that stuff torn apart. No trust in anything. Gen X, born into cynicism. And I actually Googled what's the most cynical generation. It's not Gen X. You know who it is? It's the millennials and Gen Z. You want to know why? Take a look at the economy. Take a look at global warming, climate change, the housing market. Millennials and Gen Z are even more cynical because if you kind of look at a lot of the basic things, doesn't it feel like the world is like a little bit of a mess? Is the window dirty, or is that the real world? With looking at all of this stuff that is going on, is there anything to be grateful for? And how many of us are just too exhausted to try and even look for it? I am too tired to try to be inspired. I am working just to survive. I would rather rest than try to wrestle with optimism. And yet, right, last week, Walter, you just said we need gratitude in our lives if we're going to survive. If we have nothing to be thankful for, if we have nothing to look forward to, why bother? Why do anything? We need gratitude. And it's times like these, the hardest times, that we need it the most. We need to be able to practice gratitude in the worst of times. Great idea, Walter. Easier said than done. Right? How many of you have heard the term toxic positivity? This is a new one for me, right? I heard this about a month or so ago, and apparently this has been flying around for the past few years. And when I heard it, I was like, well, no. Positivity is it's a positive. How can it be toxic if it's a positive? I remember, wasn't there a book, The Power of Positive Thinking? Don't we know that when people have a positive attitude, they have better health and better lives? How can positivity possibly be toxic? According to Psychology Today, their definition of toxic positivity, quote, toxic positivity is the act of avoiding, suppressing, or rejecting negative emotions or experiences. This may take the form of denying your emotions or someone else denying your emotions, insisting on positivity instead. Insisting on being positive even when things are bad. You know, when I read that, the very first thing I thought, any of you ever seen Monty Python's The Life of Brian? So you know where this is going. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the movie, The Life of Brian is about Brian and takes place during biblical times. His life mirrors Jesus, and he goes through similar events without actually being the Messiah. And of course, we all know how it ends for Jesus. And at the end of the movie, Brian gets crucified. And he's hanging on the cross, and the guy next to him says, "It's all right. Look on the bright side," right? Always look on the bright side of life. Right? Toxic positivity. The biggest example I can think of toxic positivity, because what's going to happen to Brian in just a few hours? Yeah. Go ahead and look on the bright side. When we talk about finding gratitude in the hardest of times, it can feel like we are talking about toxic positivity, always being asked to look on the bright side of life. When we talk about finding gratitude in hard times, it can sound like we are supposed to ignore the pain and focus on the positive. And we hear this in certain expressions that I absolutely hate. I'm sure a few of you have some of these expressions. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah, well, I'm still in pain, thank you very kindly. The one I really hate. God doesn't give you anything that you can't handle. Well, it's kind of rude of her to do this to me anyways. I'm still going through the pain. You're minimizing the suffering when you're talking about these things. Insisting on the positive, whistling a jaunty tune doesn't make it go away. And this is the key. This is the key to finding gratitude in hard times. You do not ignore the pain. You do not ignore the hard times. You recognize it as being a part of you, a necessary part of you, but not all of you. There's a great visual example for this. Chris, can you give us the next slide? How many of you know what this symbol is? Your UUs. I mean, come on, it's right over there. This is the yin-yang symbol. I love this symbol, and it's been around for thousands of years. Thousands of years. And it's normally used to symbolize light and dark. I'm kind of want to reframe that just a little bit because I don't want us to equate darkness with badness. But it's supposed to symbolize, let's say, good and evil, good times and bad times, right? And of course, thinking about this, my first thought is, where does this symbol come from? What's the inspiration of this symbol? And you can imagine a symbol being over like 3,000 years old. There's probably a little discussion about what the origins are. One of the ones that I read was that apparently it is inspired by the light that falls on the mountains. How when the light comes down, it will shine on one side of the mountain, giving it light, and the other side is still in shadow. And it is the contrast of the shadows and light that bring that mountain majesty. The mountain is always both in shadows and light at the same time. And I was thinking about having a symbol that represents the wholeness of both sides, the dichotomy. How many of you ever seen like the black and white cookies? That's just it's black on one side, white on the other. Why didn't they do that? Doesn't this curve, that S, do you see it rotating? Doesn't it give it motion where it feels like it's always moving, always undulating, going through that? And I think part of what is really important about this image is the fact that there is a little bit of white in the black and a little bit of black in the white at all times. They are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. I've been telling people, I want you to imagine you have a cake and this symbol is on top of it. I want you to cut me a piece of cake without getting all weird, do the normal triangle thing. Cut me a piece of this cake without a little bit of one side or the other. You might be able to manage it in one or two places, but for the most part, no matter how you slice it, you need to have a little bit of both. You cannot escape the good and the bad together. This is something we need to remember every element of our life. Every part that we live has both within it, the good and the bad. Sometimes there is more one than the other. But that doesn't mean the other isn't there at all. Just because we are broken in that moment does not mean all is broken. We recognize the brokenness. We honor the brokenness, but it is not all of us. I want you to think about a little bit about brokenness in your life. What I want you to do, and this is going to be tricky, I want you to imagine a time where you have had a really hard time in your life that you have healed from. If it is something that is still hurtful or fresh for you, don't go there. Not right now. You don't need to be there right now. But think of a difficult thing you have experienced that you have healed from. Has it taught you something about yourself? I'm going to give you an example. When I was in high school, I had a really good friend. We're going to call him Bob. Bob was a good friend of mine. Bob was hit by a car his sophomore year, shattered both of his legs, and was in a wheelchair for about a year and a half. And I hung out with Bob. I would bring his homework to him. We became really good friends, and I would end up taking him all these different places, right? I was always traveling with Bob. The two of us were hanging out. We'd go to his girlfriend's house. We'd get together with friends, and I was always there moving him around because I had my license. Bob didn't have his license. And I loved it. I loved hanging out, being the guy with the car, right? I was the one, whenever we're getting together, I'm going around the whole city picking everybody up so we'd go to one place. Good times. Did this for about a year and a half. Finally, Bob's legs heal, and he's able to drive. And guess what? He's no longer answering my phone calls. I find out, calling my other friends, that Bob's getting everybody together without me. And I found out that Bob didn't like me for who I was. Bob just used me to get around. Have you ever had a betrayal like that? If you would have told 17-year-old me at that moment of time, Walter, God doesn't give you something that you can't handle. I would have told you something that a 17-year-old, well, you would expect a 17-year-old to say to you, probably, if you had something like that. If you would have told me there was a lesson to learn in that moment, I wasn't ready for it. Can you imagine what I was thinking? What's wrong with me? I gave my heart, I gave my love, I gave my support to this person, and they rejected everything about me. That was a low moment, and that took a lot. But you know what I discovered? I would rather risk having my heart broken by someone than not trying to make a connection. I would rather be the person that tries to be nice and tries to do things than not try to like someone at all. I would rather take that risk than never have a good friend. I'm a little more cautious with my friendships since then. Not too terribly. But I also realized that I needed that moment after I healed from it to show me what's important to myself, to show me what I value. As our reading said, the challenge is to open your heart to what's happening beyond your part in the moment, to the moment of life everywhere. The pain, the suffering is real, You need to heal from it. And it can tell you something. The biggest thing to remember is in the hardest of times, that is not all there is. The hard times are not the only times. They are real. They are painful, and they are part of who we are. We don't get to ignore it. We don't get to push it down. And we don't get to rest solely in those hard times. We need to remind ourselves that the good things are also a part of our life. They're just as real. They're just as impactful. We cannot live in just one or the other. I heard this quote somewhere, and I cannot seem to find the origin of it. But it's a concept that's been around just as long as that thing has, it feels like. And it's basically the quote, "The shadows tell us where the light is coming from." The idea is that when things are hard, it tells us what is important to us. When we lose someone near and dear to us, it hurts us. Why? Because they were important to us. When we lose a relationship and it hurts us, why? Because connection is important to us. When we see injustice in the world that breaks our heart, why? Because we believe in worth and dignity of everyone, and we want this world to be a better place. To be able to admit that pain is hard in the moment tells you that you care, tells you that you value something. It shows you what you want to see in the world. It shows you what is worth living for. So we can't be in denial about the hard times. We can't have that positive or toxic positivity. What was it? Someone said Pollyanna. For some of you younger folks, you may not know what that means, but that basically means that toxic positivity. Everything's bright and shiny. We can't live in that space and solely that space. And, reminding all my Gen X friends and younger, we can't live in cynicism either. We cannot go from disdain to outrage to misery and cycle back over and over again. We need to do both. We need to live in both. The hard times have something to offer us. As our opening said, the dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing. Invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Thank you, Rumi. May it be so. Just as there is darkness, just as there is hard times, there is always love. Let us never forget that. Please rise in body, spirit, as we sing our closing hymn, There Is More Love Somewhere.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse somewhere. Oh boy! All right. Before our benediction, are we bowling tonight? Are we bowling tonight? I'm hoping to be there. As I was telling someone earlier, I'm planning on bringing a date. Don't tell Wendy. No, that's a joke. I will bring my wife. Please remember with the bowling that so often we've brought food before. They're asking us not to bring food this time, so just kind of keep that in mind. But I hope to see you there, and I would love to play a game of pool with at least one of you. So looking forward to that tonight. We live in the both. We live in the and. There is a lot of darkness. There is a lot of sorrow. And we need it. It is a part of us. Don't push it aside. Be willing to investigate it. Be willing to look at what it has to teach you. And if you're not ready to learn, be willing to push back for a minute. Come back later. But just remember that the pain is not all there is. There is both. May it be so.